best is yet to come, and they won't it be fine.
Hi, I'm Bruno Poet. I'm a lighting designer, and I work across theatre and opera and musicals, concerts and large-scale events. So I'm lucky enough to work in pretty much all areas of the industry.
Hi, I'm Max Narula, programmer, designer, associate, and I've worked with Bruno for 8 years now.
I started out being up by messing around in theatre as a student. I did a degree in geography, but I spent sort of freshest fair. I turned up and said, having done a bit of backstage stuff on a very small scale at school, I then volunteered basically to help backstage on student productions. And it basically became the thing I spent my entire life doing as at university. And it got to the point where every week I was lighting a different student show in a different venue somewhere. And then I went to a little fringe for a few years. And although I did all the roles to start with, it became clear very quickly that lighting was the one I was most interested in. It was always theatre and opera really to start with. And then moving into the concert world happened much later on when I started working with the Icelandic band Sigur Rós, whose management were interested in theatre and were in the National Theatre quite a lot and were aware of my work. And we started a conversation about lighting one of their smaller tours, and that led to one of their bigger tours. And the music happened partly from that, and also partly from a long collaboration with Ez Devlin, who's a very well-known designer. I worked with her a lot in opera and theatre kind of early on, and then as she grew into the concert work and the sort of the large-scale event work, she started inviting me along to light some of those productions as well. That combined with her big art installation. So I first worked with Max professionally at the Royal Opera House, where he programmed a dance piece I was lighting at the Limbury Studio. And I think the most important thing about programmers is partly how well they know the desk and how well they can physically do the buttons and manipulate the lights and the technical part of it. But the most important bit really is how they can sort of get into the lighting designer's brain and second guess what they're thinking about, and how you can develop a shorthand about what you're asking for. And also, I really like working with programmers who have a creative eye, who for opinions, and so the whole kind of design process, especially in the tech, becomes a kind of a collaboration and something you can talk about, someone who can bounce ideas with. And I found Max was very much like that when I first worked with him, which meant I had the confidence that when that particular production went to New York and I wasn't available, I asked him to take it there and recreate the lighting for me. So we're here at the Aldwych Theatre at the moment, where we're lighting Sinatra, a new musical based on the life of Frank Sinatra. We're in previews at the moment, and that means that every night there's an audience watching the show, and then we do notes afterwards, and we come back and make some changes depending what the director wants, depending what we've noticed in the show. And it's time to sort of hone the show and hopefully finesse it to a point we're happy to leave it when we get to press night, which is in about 10 days' time. The show is a biopic. It takes place over 10 years of his life, and we start with him at the height of his early fame, and then we see a sort of him falling out of favour, and then we see him restoring back again. And like most biopics, it takes place in lots of different locations. So we have to deliver large-scale concerts, sort of imagine a version of what that might be like. And we have to deliver multiple different scenes in different locations and very quick, fluid transitions. So we built up a lighting rig of mainly moving lights, which can obviously be used for different purposes throughout the evening. And there's a lot of set electrics. There's LED tape, there's practicals, there's lots of different levels of lighting. So what I really like about the setup I can now get from grandMA3 software is this particular screen layout. And I've effectively replaced what I used to have, which would be a big paper plan of the whole rig, to now I have a screen with a series of magic sheets. On my main screen, I've got a perspective view, which is showing all the moving lights, and I've chosen to have them as squares rather than symbols because I find it much quicker and clearer to read. But of course we could have any shape or size, make it look like a more traditional lighting plan if we wanted to. But for me, I can see the profiles of one thing, the wash lights are something else, and I can see what channels they are and which lights are on very quickly. And then at the sides, I've got sort of more of a traditional magic sheet layout for things like the lustres, which are a bunch of side light and front light, and we've got pat ones, which are rigged in various places. And again, it gives me a chance to very quickly look at what those particular fixtures are doing. And the other thing is at the bottom, we've got the follow spots on this show. They're all moving lights with handles. And so I can see over here what the 3 follow spots are doing. And we've made presets that show who they're pointing at in any particular cue. So again, it's very quick for me to glance at it and see what's going on with the follow spots, what color they are, and where they're pointing, what intensity they are. Then on the other side, I've got a split screen, which is partly a cue list. What I always do before we start a tech is put all the cues that I know I'm going to do. Obviously, it changes during the tech, but all the cues I'm imagining happening in the book with the DSM. And then I also put all those as blank cues in the lighting desk and label them, which means that when we're running a show in the tech, then we can follow along with the book on the cues called by the stage manager. And I tend not to have to look at the score or the book very much. I can quickly glance at the cue labels and know where I am. And if I'm updating something, it's very easy to scroll up and down and think, right, that needs to update and track through until this moment. And so all that information is in front of me. And the other thing I do, which I find crucial, is to put intensity blocks so that I know that at the end of a scene, for example, I'll put an intensity block, which means if I put the special on the chair at 50%, it will stay there until it hits that block when its intensity will fade out. But then, where it's pointing is up to Max to work out. But it's again, it just means if we're working fast, we know that we can update and things will track only to a certain point in terms of their intensity. And then on the other side of the screen, I've got the display I really love, which is the active channel display, which shows me which lights are on right now. And it also shows me which lights Max has got selected, which I find incredibly useful as well, because they'll appear in red or whatever on the screen. So I can see, if I talk about something, I can see what's going on as well. And for me, because normally in a theatre show, we don't have all the lights, I filter out so we don't see every single cell of a light curtain or whatever. But at a glance again, I can see what lights are on, how bright they are, what colour they are, and also we have a text label to show roughly where they're pointing. So again, without having to push any buttons or worry too much about any kind of technology, I can very quickly get the information I need as we're working through a show.
The nice thing about the new sheet filter view, which is we've put the live filter on it to make it look like that, is that each different part of a moving light, on an MA it's called a feature group, so position, dimmer, color, gobo, you name that, you can have that as a different line on it. So say you've got a show with that track on it or any tracking software, a lot of us put that in its own group, a feature group. And so on the sheet there, you could have the last row could actually be the allocation of who your trackers and on. So it's not just specific to how we've done it, which is dimmer, position, and color. It could be however you want it to be. So it's fully customizable depending on the scale or of the show that you're working on. I think that was the annoyance with MA2 was that you could not see the information you want to see. And the brilliance.
What is the information I wanted to hear for what? Programmers have always been very happy with it.
Well, I was the same as well. I find it hard work on MA2. But obviously MA3 is completely different software built from the ground up. And therefore the ability to suddenly put these screens and layouts that give us the information we want.
One of the great things about working with MA recently is the direct contact we've had with them about developing the software further for theatre. And it's been really exciting to get their responses and to see the software sort of changing in front of our eyes.
Honestly, so since we did Devil Wears Prada on an MA3, which is the first musical we'd done on MA3 together, 2 years later to now, the speed of the console that I can work at, I never thought I could ever work that fast. And this has been quite a condensed rehearsal period. So updating and storing has always been quite slow on an MA. And I really don't think that I've noticed anything holding me back to be able to work at the speed that the designer is talking to me at, which is amazing.
I think from a designer's perspective, I've noticed a couple of things working with MA is that being able to manipulate effects in front of my eyes is really fantastic. Is the fluidity at which the programmer can work with effects and with pixel type of things, and show me different options, and I go, oh yes, no, or go back a bit like the last one, but a little slower, or it's very easy to sort of describe with words and my hand gestures the kind of thing you want the lights to do with effects, and then see that being adapted sort of live in front of you very efficiently. That's been enjoying it. And I think the other thing that's been really interesting is how when you got effects running over a certain number of pixels, if you want to add another bar to do the same thing, or you want to add a fixture to that function effect, then that seems to be possible to slot in. I don't know how it's done because I don't have to worry about it, but it seems to slot that in very, very quickly. And things like pixel tapes going around across. If you want them all to start in the center and end at the bottom all at the same time, even though every cross has a different height, then it seems to be that's something that can be manipulated very efficiently. And so it gives you more time to play with ideas rather than sort of fighting to make certain things happen.
Yeah, I think moving black is very powerful. It works really well. It's basically also mark, but you have the ability to define and manipulate it if it's not working for you. So you naturally, you want to use it because it really works. And also on big shows where you're deleting scenes, you might be moving stuff around. I just delete the cues and the death remarks all the lights for me. I don't have to do any tidying up from that point of view. So I program with moving black set to last, so that the lights are never marking too early, so that everything's always in the position it was until the last possible moment. And then actually what's really good is you can then change your default to early. So suddenly when you're running a show, you can get the lights to be the most efficient marking with one button. And it really is it works very, very well. And when that doesn't work and I want to be specific about something, then there's a brilliant defined column. And I can just move the lights into its own part of that cue and say, actually, I want these lights to mark in that cue over that time and delay, which is great. I mean, I think it's 2026. You shouldn't have to worry about presetting a light. It's great that the software can do it for you. More time to do other things really and be creative rather than be it with your head in the room rather than your head in the desk.
Hi, I'm Oli Thomas, and I am the production electrician on Sinatra the Musical. We've done a couple of productions last year with MA3, but this is sort of the one that's a big theatre focus for us, which we're seeing this year. We've got quite a few shows now. They're moving over onto MA3, which is all exciting because it's something new for us all to learn. And yeah, we're sort of getting to grips with what's new, what's different to other products we've used in the market. I think what was really good is I actually went down to Ambersphere for a couple of days, and the team there, we spent a bit of time looking over networking to sort of get our heads around it. And actually, it was all pretty simple, very comparable to what we've done with other products in the market. One good thing is that the backbone of the network doesn't require such a big infrastructure as in comparison to some other things we use, but for this show, just because we have got a lot going on, we're running some sort of NDI for sort of recording of shows and things, video content and stuff. So we have got a fibre network that we run, and then we have different MANet, we have SACN, OSC, so we've got different protocols that we're running, and they all integrate really nicely into the system, and we find that it's really simple, easy to do, and touch wood, we've had no problems at all, which is great. So we've got the MA lights, which is what the operator uses to run the show. We've then got in a rack in the control room, we also have a replay unit, which sort of acts as our backup, and then we've got 3 processors as well that are L size, to give us all the parameter outputs we need. We've got a fair bit of set electrics on this, pixel tape, so that is one of the good things of the MA, is that we can save parameters with the 16-bit modes.
And down here, the brilliance of MA sessions, we can just join all the other consoles that we want for production only into the session. And I have an MA Lite with 2 touch screens. And Bruno's got Mac Mini running on PC, and our assistant Charlotte has got another on PC running, another Mac Mini running on PC as well. And actually, the video department has it running on Mac as well. So there's about 4 Mac Minis running the software, a few consoles.